The red sand blazes under Namibia's scorching sun. The temperature hits 108 degrees Fahrenheit. The silence is broken only by the thud of hooves, a cattle herd returning to the settlement. In the shade of an acacia tree beside a hut made of red clay, a man gazes toward the horizon, waiting for his guest. He's not bothered that tonight his wife might spend the night with a complete stranger. In fact, he's the one who'll suggest it. Welcome to the world of the Himba tribe, where hospitality is taken to the extreme, where traditions trump personal feelings, and where a husband offering his wife to a stranger is considered not a betrayal, but a model of generosity. Who are the Himba, the people of the Red Earth? In the merciless expanse of the Namibian desert live about 50,000 people who are radically different from the rest of the world. The Himba are a semi-nomadic tribe that has maintained a way of life for thousands of years that's completely alien to modern civilization. They're easy to spot. Their reddish-tinted skin comes from a special paste made of ochre, fat, and ash that they cover their bodies with. Women wear goatskin skirts decorated with shells and copper ornaments. Men sport distinctive hairstyles that symbolize their marital status. But their appearance is just the tip of the iceberg. The real mystery of the tribe lies in their traditions, especially those concerning hospitality and family relationships. Because here, there's a law that the Western world would call insane. A husband personally offers his guest a night with his wife. A tradition born of the desert. Why would a man willingly give away what's most precious, his wife? The answer lies in a survival philosophy developed over centuries. In conditions where daytime temperatures reach 113 degrees Fahrenheit and nighttime temperatures drop to freezing, where rain is rare luck and drought can last for years, surviving alone is impossible. There's no room for individualism here. There's only community. There's only mutual aid. A guest in the desert isn't some random visitor. This is someone who traveled miles across scorching sand, risked his life, and made it to your home. That means he deserves maximum respect. For the Himba people, men who offer their wives to visitors for sexual relations consider it the highest form of hospitality, explain researchers of African culture. But this isn't just a polite gesture. It's a life philosophy where community interests matter more than personal boundaries. How it happens? The hospitality ritual. Picture this scene. A stranger arrives at a Himba settlement. Tired, exhausted from the journey, covered in desert dust. What happens next? The head of the family meets the guest at the entrance to the hut, offers water, the most valuable thing in the desert, seats him in the shade, gives him food. And then, if the guest has shown respect for customs and proven himself a worthy person, something unthinkable to the outside world happens. The host offers him a night with his wife. Not as an insult, not as a deal, but as the ultimate sign of trust and respect. The husband himself spends the night in another room or even under the open sky, because the guest should feel truly honored. The woman in this situation isn't a trading commodity. She has the right to agree or refuse, but tradition dictates that refusal is rare because it's part of their cultural code. Philosophy without jealousy. But what about jealousy? How can a man calmly watch his wife spend the night with another man? The answer lies in the Himba's special worldview. Here, jealousy is considered a destructive emotion that could destroy the community. In a world where survival depends on mutual aid, personal grudges are a luxury no one can afford. Today, you welcomed a guest and gave him your wife. Tomorrow, this same person might save your life in the desert. Moreover, this practice has practical benefits. It strengthens bonds between different Himba groups, creating a network of mutual obligations that helps them survive in harsh conditions. Himba women, not victims, but participants. It's important to understand, women in the Himba tribe aren't powerless victims of male decisions. Their role in society is much more complex and significant. Women take on enormous responsibilities, caring for livestock, building houses from red clay, managing households, raising children. They're the backbone of the tribe's economy. And in matters of intimacy, they have remarkable freedom. Himba women are completely allowed to have lovers outside marriage, and this is accepted without judgment. Moreover, such freedom is considered a way to strengthen the community and ensure genetic diversity for future generations. Divorce for Himba women is a very easy process. If a woman is unhappy with her marriage, she can simply pack up and leave. No complicated procedures, no social condemnation. Marriage as economic alliance. To understand the hospitality tradition, you need to understand how marriage works among the Himba. Here, people don't marry for love, but for practical reasons. The main value is cattle. The number of cows determines not only family welfare, but also the ability to make an advantageous marriage match. The Himba are polygamous. The average man has 2 to 5 wives if he can afford it. Wives are bought with cows, like goods, like investments. In such a system, a wife isn't a romantic companion, but an economic unit. She bears children, works, increases family wealth. And if she can be used to strengthen relationships with an important guest, why not? Children from all fathers. Genetic studies have revealed an astounding fact. More than 70% of Himba men raise at least one child whose biological father is another man. But this doesn't bother anyone. The tribe has the concept of a social father, a man who raises a child regardless of biological relationship. Births outside marriage or extramarital affairs aren't considered a big problem, note researchers. Every child finds their place in society. Everyone receives care and upbringing. This system creates a complex but stable network of family ties where biological kinship is less important than social bonds. Beauty as currency. The Himba have a special understanding of beauty. Women of the tribe are famous for their attractiveness. It's no coincidence they're called the most beautiful tribe in Africa. But beauty here isn't just aesthetics. It's a symbol of status, health, and fertility. A beautiful woman can bring more cows when she marries, bear more children, attract a more influential husband. And when such a woman is offered to a guest, it's a demonstration of maximum respect. The host shows, "You deserve the very best I have." Himba women's hairstyles tell a whole story. Girls wear braids directed forward. When a girl is ready for marriage, she changes her hairstyle and puts a special headband made of lamb leather on her head. Hair is covered with special clay that lasts up to 3 months. This isn't just decoration. It's a symbol of belonging to the tribe, a sign that you follow your ancestors' traditions. Sacred fire and ancestor worship. To understand the Himba's logic, you need to understand their religion. They practice monotheism, believing in the supreme god Mukuru. But ancestor spirits play an equally important role. Every family has a sacred fire, Okuruo, that's maintained as long as the tribe's leader lives. This fire is the connecting link between the world of the living and the afterlife. Every 7 to 8 days, families perform rituals worshiping ancestors and Mukuru. It's believed that ancestors act as representatives of the supreme god and can bless or curse the living. In such a system, every action must align with the ancestors' will. And if tradition requires sharing your wife with a guest, then that's what the ancestors ordained. That means it's right. Black magic and social control. The Himba believe in omiti, black magic. They think evil people can cast curses, instill dark thoughts, even kill from a distance. Often, the Himba believed that death is always caused by omiti. To identify the source of evil, they turned to local shamans. This belief system creates powerful social control. Any deviation from the norm can be explained by witchcraft. And to avoid suspicion, it's better to strictly follow traditions. Including the hospitality tradition, you can refuse a guest to your wife, but then you might be suspected of being possessed by evil spirits. Collision with modernity. But this world is changing. Western civilization is penetrating Namibia, and young Himba are beginning to feel ashamed of their traditions. When I go out in traditional clothes beyond the village, people look at me strangely, admits a young man from the tribe. Himba children who get educated in cities return home with new ideas about morality, human rights, gender equality. They see their way of life as backward and want to change it. This creates generational conflict. Elders want to preserve traditions. Youth want to live modern lives. And every year, the traditional Himba lifestyle weakens. Tourism as threat and salvation. Paradoxically, tourism simultaneously destroys and preserves Himba culture. On one hand, tourists bring foreign values. They show alternative ways of life, give money that allows buying modern goods instead of making traditional ones. On the other hand, tourists pay for the exotic. The more authentic the Himba remain, the more money they get from visitors. And some traditions, including hospitality with offering one's wife, become tourist attractions, something to show for money rather than a natural part of life. Women against traditions. Interestingly, it's Himba women themselves who often oppose old customs. Despite formally having more freedom than in many other African cultures, young women want greater control over their lives. They see how their peers live in Namibian cities, getting education, choosing careers, marrying for love. And the tradition of sharing begins to seem humiliating to them. Some women openly refuse this practice. This creates tension in families and communities, but the process of change is already irreversible. Economy versus traditions. Modern economics also undermines the foundations of the traditional system. The Himba depend less and less on livestock and more on money. Young men go to work in cities. There they earn salaries, buy modern goods, get used to a different lifestyle. And when they return home, old traditions seem inappropriate to them. Why share your wife with a guest when you can just give him money for a hotel? Why maintain a complex system of mutual obligations when you can buy everything you need at a store? Economic logic gradually displaces traditional logic. The last guardians. And yet, the tradition lives on. In the most remote corners of Namibia, where tourists and modern civilization don't reach, elderly Himba continue following their ancestors' customs. They still greet guests with maximum hospitality, still consider offering their wife to a stranger an honor, not humiliation. Because for them, it's not just tradition. It's a way to remain human in the inhuman conditions of the desert. A way to create connections where nature destroys everything living. The final word. Can we understand the Himba? Can we accept a tradition that seems savage to us? Probably not. We're too different. We have different values, different histories, different living conditions. But we can try to see the logic in their actions. Understand that behind seemingly strange customs lies thousands of years of experience surviving in one of Earth's harshest places. The Himba created a society where personal attachments are subordinated to public interests, where guests are sacred and hospitality knows no bounds, where survival matters more than morality. This isn't good or bad. It's just another way of being human. And perhaps in our individualistic world, there's something to learn from people who maintain unity at any cost, even at the cost of their own wife. Because in a desert where tomorrow might not come, today's sacrifices are tomorrow's salvation. And when the sandstorm subsides, when the sun sets over the horizon, when fire is lit in the hut, only one thing remains: people who accepted you as their own, even if it meant giving away what's most precious.